Hello everybody, good evening. This is Il Salotto Creativo. We are at the 10th interview now. Thank you everybody for joining. Now just let me know if the connection is okay, if you can hear me well and everything. So usually I lead these interviews in Italian, but tonight I'm finally opening up to a new international public. I hope my Italian friends won't be too disappointed by this. So if you need me to repeat something, if you want to ask questions, just feel free to participate. All good, okay, that's great. So tonight I'm just inviting Lise Arlot. I'm just about to accept her invitation. She's here, okay. And okay, I will tell you all about her in a bit. Just accept. Okay, waiting for Lise Arlot. Okay, that's great. In the meantime, I see all my friends joining. Ciao! Hello! How are you?
I'm great. What about you?
I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, unfortunately tonight the weather is not so good, but
It's been better here as well. But hey, it's London. I mean, yeah, I should be used to it.
I know. Okay, so I was just about to introduce you and like what you do, etc. So I'm just saying that it's the first time that I'm opening these interviews up to an international public because I've interviewed just Italian people for now. So finally, I'm just introducing these new interviews in English. So, having said that, we are facing this topic, which is the interaction between technology and art with you, because you are the co-founder and art director of Feral Horses. But before starting with explaining what Feral Horses is, I would like to ask you a bit about yourself. So, who are you? What did you study? And then, what are you doing now?
So yeah, so I mean, I'm French originally. I think people will hear the accent pretty soon. Technically, Italian is my third language, so yeah, we can switch if needed. I can.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Um,
Great.
so yeah, I mean, I moved to London when I was 17, so straight after high school. It was really stressful for me to understand kind of, when they ask you what you want to do with your entire life and you're basically still a kid and you have to plan it out and know exactly like in which city you want to go, what studies you want to do. And so because I was 17, I felt like I had some extra time. So I decided to just move to London, be extra out of my comfort zone. I come from a very, very tiny town in the southwest of France. So
All right.
super far away from the art world. There's literally
Okay.
just one art gallery in my city and it's sharing its space with a framer. So it's like, it's another world. It's not like...
But were you already passionate about art at that time, or you discovered this field later?
So it's always been kind of a passion of mine, but obviously because I was not living in a humongous city, I could not really experience it. And so I was really curious to basically move to London, to have the
Of course.
experience that, and obviously kind of confront myself with more of like an international kind of environment. So
I know.
I moved to London, did kind of a really like accelerated program to learn English because obviously like French people were not well known for abilities to learn languages in high school. So it was really like I literally arrived there. I could barely say hi and thank you. And that was
Really?
it. Yeah, it was intense and very frustrating, especially for the first few months, because you can't even make jokes. So it's really difficult to just like go on with your life and survive and just make friends. And so I
No.
really love this experience so much. And I
Where
love...
did you study? I don't know if you already said that. Maybe I missed it. Where did you study then in London?
So just did this like super fast English course, and then I went to University of Greenwich.
All right.
to study business and marketing. And so basically, first day of the first year of uni, it was my first class was a marketing class, and I met my co-founders there. So we were grouped to do a project. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's, yeah, that was kind of, you know, like those sliding door moments where we started working together and chatting, and I was really pleased to end up in kind of a business school environment and seeing that people around me were actually caring about art.
Yeah.
So we had so much fun just going to so many art galleries, doing so many things together, meeting artists, visiting the studios. It was literally like Disney World to me to be around here.
Yeah, exciting for sure.
Yeah, and so real quick we started writing the first business plan together.
How did you come up? How did you come up with the idea of feral horses?
Like, basically, it's the story of our life. We just broke art lovers. We were students. We didn't have
I know.
and very expensive taste.
Totally relatable.
Really, really expensive taste in art, and definitely not the budget to satisfy this love for it.
Yeah.
And
it was a personal need. Like
it was our problem.
That for ourselves.
It was our problem. Then we realized we were not the only one.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we just had to come up with solutions to bring people and art together. So we started just working on it super early. Like we were 19. So throughout the bachelor, and actually during the master degree, so I went to Regent's University, and I studied luxury brand management there. And so mid second term, we actually went live with our horses. So we were full-time students and launching the platform. So that was like definitely a year of my life. I didn't sleep much.
Wow. Yeah, I can.
But it was fun. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, I know. Also, another very good thing about this, you know, have an idea and try to develop it. It's the energy that this thing have at the beginning. You are like overwhelmed by these good vibes and energy, and you just want to, you know, to get something good out of it. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, tell us what feral horses is and how it developed in these years from the initial idea nowadays.
So yeah, it really started with this idea that art is not accessible. It's really difficult to enjoy at many levels. So you have so many barriers. So definitely the financial one, but there's also a kind of social aspect to it. So together with my co-founders, like we don't come from art backgrounds, let's say, like our parents are not major collectors. Daddy is not running an auction house. Like we don't have this kind of support system, which is normally like a lot of people will tell you that kind of the passion for art is something they have inherited from their parents because they were kind of interacting in this world, and so they were just kids going to or stuff like that. So for us, it was just really we were confronted with the reality of being an outsider, so being strangers, like really literally foreigners, and stepping into, you know, like just pushing the door of the big galleries for the first time. And having like the lady at the desk that is just looking at you like really mean, and the experience of even like just going to a very cool conceptual kind of challenging art show, and so you kind of you don't know sort of how to experience it, and you're a bit lost when you don't have much elements to understand it. And I remember so many times like walking towards the desk to try to grab the press release, and eventually being even more confused after reading the press release than after seeing the art.
What am I reading here? What are those information?
So yeah, all those like never-ending sentences full of jargon that nobody understands, not even the creator who wrote it. So we were just really frustrated. And I think the
feeling that you had at that time was that the art world was too detached from young people, right?
From outsiders in general, and it was really not inviting. And so it's definitely, it's a small market, it's a small industry, and it doesn't have to be. We made it very elitist, we made it very special, and one of the first thing that we started thinking about, you know, is if you think of art, most people will tell you that they start caring about art a bit like after they have done everything else in their life. Like first you become rich and famous, and then you build an art collection. Like
the last
Kardashian, you know.
I know.
It's a bit like the last stage of what you do. And if we think about it from kind of a sociological perspective, art used to be something that was just parts of our communities. Like when we were cavemen, some people were actually making art on the walls of the cave to narrate like hunting scenes or whatever. And so it was always been something that initially was free, easy to access, and was just very organically happening.
Yeah.
And with time, we made it impossible to access. So we wanted to kind of reverse that situation. So that was kind of the starting point.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, very good then, because it's true. It's true. I think I faced the same issues when I first moved to London 2 years ago, trying to find a job in the art world. I think it was exactly the same with this paper CV. Opening the door of the super big gallery is very important, and try to, hi, make me notice, hi, that this is Eleonora looking for a job. Is there any availability here? And they were like, oh gosh, please, who's this one? Hey, the door is that way, ciao. And I was like, oh my gosh.
But it's worth it to do it.
But
like
then,
definitely it pays. You do get opportunities sometimes. Like you have no idea how many like directors of galleries I've met just by actually stepping into the gallery and just be like, okay, can I see the director?
yeah.
Like, who are you? What do you want? It's like you just have to fake it. You have to be incredibly confident, but eventually you can get it.
Yeah.
If you're curious enough and they have a bit of time, which they normally do, you can end up there and take their attention for a little while. So it's worth it.
Which kind of galleries did you find more easy to approach? Like in general, I think in London there are different levels of galleries, so maybe there are more options as well.
Absolutely, no. There's definitely different levels, but it's at the end of the day, it's a people experience. So it really depends on the kind of characters you're encountering, and so sometimes like a fancier gallery is going to be way more welcoming than one that is a bit like lower tier but just very snob. So you have to kind of go with the flow and adapt. And it's also kind of an industry that is not super like happy with changes and new trends and innovation. It's a bit old-fashioned, and we like it this way, and it's very comforting in some respects. But so it's interesting to see how you can bring it and not basically scare people away with your crazy ideas, but just like try to be as reasonable as you possibly can and show them that they have some sort of value that they can get out of it. So it's a job interview. You sell yourself and what you're going to bring to the company. You don't start like, okay, so I need an internship to validate my master. Like nobody cares. That's your life. Like good for you. It's like it's the complete opposite of like basically showing value for them and what you can change in the daily routine and what you can make better.
Yeah. And how did you start? Like, did you have a muse to follow or someone that inspired you at the beginning?
At the very
I might have an idea, but I want to see what you tell me.
So at the very, very beginning, it was it was quite a few years ago. So the kind of art and tech ecosystem was not as developed as it is today. It was definitely less players. And so initially we were just really a very strong funding team. So my two co-founders are two Italian guys who I love deeply. And so we were just very much relying on each other
Right.
to support, and we're also incredibly competitive. So we wanted to be the one like bringing the best contract or coming up with the best idea, the best strategy.
Of course.
So it was very dynamic and very, like a kind of very healthy competition.
Yeah, which is good. So tell us, what is feral horses? And okay, let's say I'm a possible new client.
Yep.
Try to convince me.
So if you get on Fair Horse's website, what you're gonna see basically is that you can co-own art. So you don't have to buy an entire artwork, but you can spend as little as like £10, just
Mhm.
grab of like a little bit, a little percentage of the artwork that you love from the artist that is really inspiring to you, etc. And so the idea is that when we were going through this idea of how can we make art accessible and affordable and enjoyable, but obviously without damaging its value, but quite the contrary, trying to push it further.
Yeah.
This concept of co-ownership. So it was like we didn't reinvent the wheel or anything. It's a model that exists for real estate, for startups, for wine, for cars, for everything literally but art.
Yeah.
And so we just looked into it and it was making sense. So basically you have an online platform you can go to. You have campaigns that are live. You can buy shares of them. So it's a bit like a funding campaign. You have an objective and a timeline. And so you can invest either £10 or either 10,000, depending on your budget and how much of the ownership you want to acquire. Then basically what we have launched recently is after doing the first proof of concept. So we have in our first 2 months sold 17 artworks in shares to about 60 people. So we're like, all right, this is working. Now we can bring it to the next step, because essentially it was cool to have this share purchase. But I think like the art experience is also very physical. There's nothing better than seeing art in the flesh and just meeting other people and having a good conversation and having this whole experience. So once the campaign is closed, then we have what we call the art journey. So the artwork is just going to be managed by the artist most of the time and be loaned to museums and institutions. So basically, when your artwork is inaugurated in a cool museum, you're invited, you get a glass of champagne, you get to see the artist, to meet the other co-owners.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
The museum.
I was about to ask, what are the rewards that I will gain purchasing a share of co-owned artwork?
So every single time we kind of design what we call like tangible and intangible rewards. So the intangible ones are going to be like the invitation to go see the art, to visit the studio of the artist, to have like an art dinner in a gallery or stuff like that are really common in the art industry, but that you don't really know how to access. You know, like the artist studio tour is something that is super common and super easy, and it's free and it's so much fun. But when you don't know, it's really tricky to find your way. And so we include it in packages. But then we also have some sort of tangible reward, because the idea is to kind of give you the experience of being a fancy collector, even though
the full experience.
So you can also get like an art book or a poster or something to put on your wall that you can just look at and be reminded of that artwork. So it's not the original, but it's like it's kind of a way to still build a connection.
Yeah, it's a way to start, I think. I mean, it's just a way to try and let people experience how he's collecting art, and also to try and let them know that there is an actual possibility to start it, not in such a big way and maybe scary, but with a little investment.
And
so I think it's good. And do you think it's more like co-owning artwork using your platform is more about investing, or it's more like being for the first time how can I say, a patronage, sort of art patronage?
It's kind of in the middle, because like our positioning is really much like in between art and investment, because we kind of like, according to all the research that we've conducted, we came to the conclusion that we can't really trust someone that says that they really don't care about the investment aspect.
Yeah, it's a lie.
It's
a lie.
Yeah, so it sounds beautiful when you say you really don't care and it's all about the art, and that's fine. But yeah, it's most of the time very dishonest. But at the same time, is in our opinion, very sad when the only thing you care about is the investment aspect. So that's why to us, like they come in pair. Like it's a duo.
Yeah,
so we need to care about both and provide that, and not just choose a side of either you're a patron of the art and you donate and you just do charity, or you're a crazy like art flipper investor was just trying to make a quick buck, trying to flip your art, etc. So it's just like this idea of having something in the middle, and an opportunity that is accessible for everybody as well.
Sort of also you are trying to democratize art in a way as well. So okay, let me see. I had super interesting. Okay. Another question is, what's your role inside Feral Horses?
Yeah, so I'm really like part of the funding team. So obviously at first I was just doing everything. Like there's no point when you're 3 to call yourself director of whatever. You're just doing everything. So from writing the press release to give an art show to doing press interviews, like there's just everything basically. But so initially I was more specialized and focused on the marketing aspects. So marketing and communication and growth. So thinking about like how to communicate about the platform, how to bring new users. And with time, I actually shifted to more art sides. So more like onboarding the artists and finding new campaigns at their core, and designing the rewards and caring for the artwork and just having them exhibited, planning the event. So it's a very kind of 360.
Yeah. And okay, how did you promote? Which sort of events Feral Horses organize to promote it and to find new clients?
So in terms of events, we have different types. So obviously we can go like to the more like techie and startup-y side of the story, and we can go all the way down to like the artiest kind of events. But essentially, like where we have the most fun planning is exhibiting the co-owned artworks. So that to basically make them more desirable, and they have kind of a journey into institutions that makes them easier to resell eventually and more likely to have an impact, a positive impact on the value. And as well, give the possibility to people to go and see it and brag and take a picture and bring their family and share the story of the artwork. So like the best kind of events to us is just loaning the artwork to cool institutions and bringing everybody in and having a good time and talking about art.
Yeah, so I guess you must have also a strong relationship with institutions, both to gain more visibility and also to let the value of the artwork grow.
Absolutely, and it's a very, very tricky interaction, because so the art market is very like divided. On one end you have the commercial aspect of things, and on the other end you have the institutional. Obviously museums, foundations, all those are on the public and institutional aspect, and the two sides don't like to work together. There's a bit of tension. So especially you're like a 20-year-old nothing coming from nowhere. Reaching out to the directors and be like, okay, I want to loan you this. It's tricky, but eventually, baby steps with baby steps, they see the value of basically engaging with a younger audience. So having like really young people coming to their space and rediscovering it, and so every single time is just about showing what kind of value you can bring to the ecosystem and what is gonna add to them, not what is going to add to your artwork and to your art collection, but
Of
what
course.
kind of
Yeah.
like resonance and new audience and new press releases they're going to get that is making sense to them and to their stakeholders. So it's definitely really challenging. They're not excited at first, but baby steps by baby steps, it ends up working.
How do you source new artists?
So with time, we have more and more artists applying directly on that project.
That's very
The rest of the time, I'm just basically scouting for talents everywhere. So they can be art fairs, they can be online, getting like artist interview, they can be on Instagram. It's just literally everywhere. And especially on social media, what is really cool is when we find artists that have a lot of followers, it's really cool to reach out to them and to tell them, well, you know what, you have, I don't know, 300,000 followers on Instagram. Out of those, probably 10 can afford to buy your art. All the other ones follow you because basically they love your work and they've been following your career probably for a long time, but they can't basically interact. If we do a project together, you can basically tell everybody that is into your work that you have thought of them and you want to involve them somehow, regardless of how much, like, what kind of artworks they can afford. And so most of the time, like, those artists, they're really interested because it's a great engagement strategy. It's the only way for them to monetize this follower base as well. Like, artists is not like influencers. Like, they don't, some of them get some sort of partnership that are paid, but it's still something that really needs to be pushed way more. And so the kind of project that we can do with them is just so important and bringing different kinds of revenue that is just making their career and the cash flow a bit more stable. And so that's definitely kind of my favorite type of artist to go after at the moment.
Yeah. And another question is, do the participants, so the people who actually purchase the shares, have a say in the project to make the artist grow, or they're just like kind of not really participating in the whole project, in the idea?
So the idea is that basically our team is taking most of the responsibility. So
Okay.
it can be either, like, for horses, either the artist. So basically we're going to be the ones taking the decisions regarding where we're going to learn the artwork, what kind of shows we're going to organize. Because a lot of the people who basically use Feral are not, let's say, extremely, like, they're not all out of like 5 years of art history studies or things like that. They don't really understand the intricate ecosystem that, like, the art market can be, and like what would be beneficial or what wouldn't. So that's basically our part of the bargain. What they have to do is just enjoy and learn about art and have a good time. That's the deal that we have in between us.
Yeah, of course. And okay.
Yeah, so the most expensive artwork that we've sold was a big marble bust that was £180,000. And so it's currently co-owned by 1,200 people. It's difficult to have 1,200 people to agree.
And listen, everybody and all the ideas.
Yeah. And so we have people like from all over Europe and all over Italy co-owning it. And so if we were asking people where they would like the artwork to be exhibited, so people from Naples would tell me, oh, I want it in Naples. People from Rome would tell me, oh, no, bring it to Rome. And so it would be really tricky to go about it. So yeah, we have to make some artistic choices, let's say.
Yeah. Did you find it difficult to try to make people understand that they are buying a share, so they're not going to hang the artwork at their home?
So what's cool with that is that it's not that complex in the end, because the audience we are interacting with, it just consists of people who don't normally get the chance to buy art.
Right.
So it's just an alternative for basically, you know, like I was one of those people who would go to really fancy art fairs that I know I can't afford anything at, but I would just go to have fun. And that's 80% of the audience. It's just people
I know.
to have
But
a time and to see
also
beautiful
it's
things.
also it's like 90% of the public in an art fair.
Yeah, and so
They
we have
all just go
those
there for the
people,
event.
and so those people, they know already they're not gonna hang much art at their place. And so that's why, like, we just tell them, okay, so you can't collect quite yet, or you're very young, or whatever happens in your life, you're still renting, you can't like start building big collections. And so those people, we just tell them, okay, there's an alternative for you. We have designed an experience for you. And so those, they get it. Of course, when we have collectors, like established collectors looking at it, they're like, look, why would I? A bit, what is the point? And of course, we're not really catering to their needs. Let's say the galleries, all the other players in the art market are catering to those people's needs, and that's great. And we interact super well together. But yeah, we just focus on another target.
Yeah, of course. You are not competitors to
No.
those kind of galleries. Yeah.
We collaborate.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Before, few people were asking some questions, so let me just go behind. And okay, so Art Living is asking, do you finance even an idea? I think it's, do you fund even an idea or a project of your artist? So financially, do you help your artist?
So we don't really create projects to fund, basically like to just start buying shares of an artwork that doesn't already exist, for example.
Right.
So it has to be a finished artwork that exists, that has a certificate of authenticity, etc., that we put on sale. But then the share that's basically the commission of the artist, we have a lot of our artists using those campaigns to finance certain projects. So saying, for example, an artist is getting like a major solo show in a cool castle somewhere in the countryside, and they need 2K to just for the transportation and the insurance so that they can have this show happen. The platform is a good way for them to raise this money by selling an artwork, basically.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good, because it could also help young artists trying to, you know, to actually start, because it's also very expensive for artists sometimes, both to produce their art and to transport costs are crazy, or insurance as well.
Yeah, we love working with marble sculptures, and yeah, they're
very easy. The easiest to transport.
It's just fun.
But you said that at the beginning, that you have a very expensive taste. So
yeah, that's what can I do.
Okay, so another question from the public was that, okay, AA BNZ is asking, I'm not an artist, but I'm a creative in a different world. How art can be affected in this special period? What are the differences between contemporary and modern art in terms of buyers? Buyers, I think budget, it's different.
Yes, it tends to be.
It's just the budget, first of all.
But budgets and taste and trends obviously play a role. But so in terms of kind of what impact we can, I think that the beginning of the question was more about like, chaos, like
exactly.
what are the takeaways? And I think like what we're seeing right now is just a kind of finally trying to understand like how to experience art online. So perhaps not just putting JPEG on a website and calling it an online gallery, but maybe push it a bit like further. So yes, like trying to basically use the technological opportunities that we have out there, and trying to understand how to make people experience art on the screen. So it is definitely a challenge. It is tricky, but we can get there. And I think that's like what this lockdown is bringing, is a lot of curiosity towards that, instead of just saying, oh no, but like people can just go and see it no matter what all the time. So that's pretty cool. And just understanding as well the value of community. So not just staying like in your little art dealership company and just not interacting with anybody, but doing like Instagram live with journalists, with curators, with everybody involved
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
and just trying to just collaborate more and rely on each other and be a bit more collaborative. I hope it's going to be one of the things.
Yeah, I think this is a very good time to do that, and
Yeah.
I'm sort of seeing people actually doing this, which is encouraging, honestly, and a bit of unexpected also, because people are really exactly. Finally, people are showing to actually have a heart. They are collaborating, so this is good. This is very good. Are you working on a project at the moment, or there's something for the future that we should know?
So, and on our end, with this, like in the middle of basically taking this time to reflect and think, and I think
Yeah,
like that is what is helping a lot of galleries also plan big partnership and big collaboration and just get together, get stronger together. Because obviously, when you open and everything is running as usual, you're busy, you always have 50 emails to check and like 500 art openings to attend, and everything is super fast paced, and you have the time to do nothing. And so for us, we really like cherishing this time to really get down to actually like collaboration within the
yeah,
industry, to just try to build an ecosystem that is stronger, that is more self-sustaining in many respects, and just has very diversified source of revenues as well. So you don't have to just put all your eggs in the same basket and just hope that you're gonna sell at the opening or at the fair, but that you have different ways. So
that's fine.
we're excited about so many projects. We just have to wait a little bit longer before breaking the news, but it's coming
Right.
soon, and it's a good.
Okay. Okay. We will watch you then. We will just keep
You
this.
should. You definitely should. That's the
Okay.
you should remember.
And browsing your Instagram account, I was very curious and I didn't know what to find. And at some point, I saw a picture of you and Vittorio Sgarbi. How was meeting our Vittorio Sgarbi? He's a character.
That was quite an experience. And so, I mean, it's one of those like little really feel good moments to us, because as I told
An
you,
achievement, I can imagine.
yeah,
Was it?
it was really difficult to get in touch, and we really don't have existing connection. So it's just so cool to just have these opportunities, and does have those like just major monuments. Is just, I mean, is a complex character with many faces, but if you focus on the art historian one, it's just so incredible what he represents for the Italian
Yeah.
market, and all the foundation that he's working on. And so it was a big moment for us to just have important people's attention for a meeting and just have the chance to see their collection and have a good time and talk about art. And that's what we want to do on a daily basis. And so when we get to do it for meetings as well, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Do you work a lot with Italy?
So yeah, so my two co-founders are Italian,
Right.
and a lot of the first artists that we have signed are Italian. So we have built strong relationship with them from the very beginning, because they were some of the first ones to basically trust this bunch of crazy kids with a weird idea.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we have
Like who? Which artists are you collaborate with?
So we love working with Yago, for example, who's sculptor originally from Anagni, who then moved to New York. It just unveiled like an amazing public art project in Naples that is absolutely stunning. There's also Federico Clapis. There's also Raffaele Montepaone, Alessandro Calizza. We have
Cool names. Cool names.
cool guys as well, to be
Yeah.
so it's even nicer, you know, when you have meetings in Italy, it's always very friendly, and we
I
always go
know.
to dinner and like always
I
have
know.
to eat.
Forgive us if we are too intense sometimes.
I'm loving it. I think culturally we're very similar, So
Yeah,
I go on the
that's
business,
very true.
really, I'm the happiest, and I'm very
Yeah.
in my element.
Okay, so let me see if you have done your homework that I gave you. So, according to the format of Il Salotto Creativo, the last part of the interview, I am asking you to show us three objects that explain in some way your personality and like three objects important to you. So, let me see.
All right. So we're gonna actually start with this little babe over here.
Okay. Wow.
I actually saw the artist passing by at some point. I don't know if David is still around.
Yeah.
So that's a very special artwork that you can see. So basically, it's part of the Planet series. So it's a series of artwork that is trying to basically make you think about sustainability and ecology, but in a kind of different way. So instead of shaming you and like showing you how terrible like your impact on the planet is, and like how wrong you've been, like the human has been doing. What David is trying to do, which I think is way smarter and way more effective, is just trying to show you how beautiful our planet is, and that we should cherish it and build a better relationship with it and just do better in the future. So it's really like a message of hope. It's very inspiring, and this specific artwork is very important as well, because it's one of the artwork that we have brought to Dragon's Den. So we went on national TV on the BBC with my team to pitch for our horses. And so that's one of the artwork that was just like packed and that we took with us on the train. And yeah, been on national primetime TV with. So that was
wow, that's exciting.
Cool one.
Good job, very good job.
Then I'm trying to say it's kind of
second object.
Then I have this book. It's like one of my favorite books that I got from the bookshop of the Yves Saint Laurent Museum in Marrakesh. And so it's basically Yves Saint Laurent's lover telling how they got basically they fell in love with Morocco and how the aesthetics there influenced them heavily. And so you get tales of like, you know, you randomly have Andy Warhol coming for Minty in the middle of the afternoon as well. So it's just an amazing story. And
why is it important to you? Why is this book important to you?
It's particularly important because of kind of the career of Saint Laurent as a designer and the way it was bringing fashion and art together a lot, his relationship with artists. And so especially with the kind of the role that Morocco has played on his inspiration and the way he managed, because obviously like being a gay man in Morocco even today is still a crime. So even like think about the mid-60s there must have been actually incredibly challenging, but they just found a way to make it work and to have an interaction with a country that is beautiful. And it's just this freedom of mind. And this idea that you can, even though the world is not perfectly adapted to you, you can make it work. So it's
a message of hope, basically.
The message of hope and like just pure freedom. I think like that's my kind of French side of like, you know, going on pride, like challenging the status quo all the time.
Right. And what about the third object?
The third object, I wanted to keep the intellectual sides a bit down. So it's an espresso.
I was just challenged by your. Okay.
It's an espresso part because I drink a lot of coffee.
That's your Italian part.
That's actually like the French people kind of we like our coffee short as well. We're not like as crazy as the Brits. And so yeah, I drink coffee all day. And
also that was, I think, the only thing that saved you when in the first part of the project, when you were telling me, oh, I didn't really sleep that much at the beginning.
Absolutely. And in the mid part and in the late part and today.
Okay, that's great. So let me see if anyone in the public have other questions.
Yay.
But I think we pretty much covered all the interesting topics and the majority of the business that feral horses is. So I really hope that was clear for everybody. And okay, let's see. I don't see questions coming. So for me, it's okay. I really enjoyed this interview and thank you so much for participating.
No,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
special.
It was a lot of fun. We hope to see you in London soon. At some
Yeah.
point.
Ah, we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'll come to Milan.
Thank
Come
you
to
so
Milan.
much. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.
Bye, you too. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.